Years, we're recognizing Matthew Billets from the Sheriff's Office, Kyle Anderson from the Sheriff's Office, Steve Swoboda from Veteran Services, Joshua Cruz from Highway, Josh Fox from IT, Luke Ross from our facilities team, Jesus Castillo from IT, and Amanda Anderson from Health and Human Services. All right. 10-year recognition goes to Michael Monson from Highway, Daniel Lothert from the Sheriff's Office,
10 years fly by.
Gretchen Backer from Health and Human Services, Donald Sanskowski from Highway, and Lisa Eliason from Health and Human Services. Congratulations. All right, 15-year recognition. We have Troy Johnson from Planning and Zoning, Mandy Jordan Lemmerman from Health and Human Services, Tammy Martins from Health and Human Services, Brent Rausch from the Sheriff's Office, Jeannie Lewandowski from the Recorder's Office, and Michelle Prayman from Court Services. All right, moving to the 20-year recognition, we have Neil Huemiller from Court Services, and also Keith Triplett from the Assessors Department. All right, our 20-year employees. Now moving on to 25 years. Mark Mattice from Administration.
He's halfway there, guys. He's 72. He loves the county that much.
Eric Cheney from the Sheriff's Office, 25 years. And 30-year recognition goes to Tom Fedema from Court Services. And also recognizing 30 years of service for Scott Sandberg for the Attorney's Office. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for your years of service. I'm continually impressed by 30 years, 25 years. I'm sure that time has gone very quickly. At least I hope it has. I can speak from my own experience. And really, again, we're a service organization, and that takes great people to do it. And we have a lot of great people working for us. So always enjoy this quarterly recognition of service for employees. So thank you for being here and supporting both your departments and your fellow employees. It's a nice show of our group. So, well, Mr. Chair, any comments? I'll turn the mic over to you.
Likewise, I appreciate all of the dedication. We have very fortunate to have so many employees that put in a lifetime of work, and some are working their way on a lifetime of work in dedication to the citizens. So I can't thank you enough. I know a lot of you are so interested in staying and listening to all the wonderful discussions, but I will also excuse you if you would like to leave and not want to stay for the much more mundane part of the meeting. But thank you all for coming today and for your work. So, moving on in today's agenda, the next item would be dispensing with the minutes. We have 4 different minutes from 4 different meetings from August 31st, September 5th, September 12th, and also September 12th. They can be approved collectively or individually. Is there any modifications or is there any motion to approve?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just one small modification for the county board workshop. In the discussion, I just had made reference also, which wasn't included, that inflation wasn't being considered in our budget, and that it probably should have.
All right. Any other modifications or corrections to the minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just a comment that I thought the minute takers did a great job in summarizing all the meeting minutes, and there was a lot of them and a lot of things to keep track of. So I appreciate the efforts by everyone that did meeting minutes, and I'll make a motion to approve all of the meeting minutes with the one modification.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Catchmark,
Second?
second by Commissioner Dietrich. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved unanimously. Today's agenda, is there anyone that would like to add anything to today's agenda or remove anything? I'll entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll
So
make
moved.
that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland,
Second?
second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved unanimously. Consent agenda today. Would anyone like to remove anything from today's consent agenda for further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, motion by Commissioner Catchmark,
I'll second that.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda approved unanimously. Today's timed agenda items, moving on to the second one there, as we've already taken care of the years of service. We will be going down to the Highway Department. The approve the resolution requesting a variance for standard, for state aid operations for Franklin Township Bridge replacement.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Board of Commissioners.
Morning.
This is a request and a resolution that was brought to the board on August 15th, and it was approved. But we found out that resolution had cited the wrong rules. It cited 8820 and 9922, so MnDOT sent it back to us, and it's corrected now. And so the resolution reads correctly now, citing Rule 8820, 9920 with a design standard variance request 40 miles an hour. So that's the request today to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Virgil. Is there any questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion,
All
Mr.
right,
Chair.
motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Catchmark. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Resolution, Commissioner Catchmark?
Aye.
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 Resolution passes
Thank you.
unanimously. Thank you. We're moving quite swiftly here, but I don't feel the next item will kind of keep moving since I don't believe the 9:17 timed agenda item is too contentious.
Yeah, so mine is just to approve, to seek solicited bids for a grant-funded project on Joint Ditch Number 15. That was already approved by the board to seek that grant funding. When the grant funding came in, we approved it. So now it's just to seek bids and to get the project done.
Any questions?
Makes sense.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Catchmark,
Second?
second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We're on a roll here to set a county board record. I think the record is like 22 minutes. Are we going to be able to get there, guys? I don't know.
It's the difference between having 4 and 5 here.
So you're saying that Nadine takes us
Yeah,
off
we'll tell
topic?
Nadine.
No, I didn't mention any names. I just mentioned a number.
She's probably watching from afar right now. Okay, moving on to items for consideration, we'd have the committee recommendations. The first recommendations would be from the August 31st, the Ways and Means Committee and the use of county-owned vehicles. The recommendation was to bring the policy to the September 19th board meeting with the the discussed edits and set up a procedure to review the vehicles with finance. So I guess with this discussion piece here, I was under the impression that we were having a little bit more time with this and having more discussion. But was it, that's what I got for the recommendation, so, but are we approving a updated policy then right now? No. Was that, did I miss a piece there, or was that?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the policy was included in there, and staff is going to take the task on to review how that policy applies to the county vehicles being used.
So and most of the stuff that's in there anyways, from what I've seen it, I guess hasn't been any edits to it from just the previous week, so it's all the same in there. Because the other stuff was mostly any edits were ones that were just making it up, was compliant with
morning.
IRS regulations, so just wanted to make sure there was some clarification on it.
Yep, good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. We made an edit to, we had a statute that was incorrect, and the public safety definition is what was updated from the previous version.
So, okay. So with that, it's pretty much boilerplate then, otherwise mostly just compliance with state and federal regulations as far as use of government vehicles.
I'll make the motion to approve that.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
I'll second that.
second by Commissioner Catchmark. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously. Now moving on to the approval and adopt recommendations from the August 12th workshop. Number of items on there. The first one was obviously the scheduled meetings, which was no meetings were scheduled at that time. We had the AmeriCorps Seniors RSVP presentation, which was an informational item. Great River Regional Library also did a update to the county board and gave us an insight into their budget and their operations, which was also informational only. We had the compost and household hazardous waste updates, which was also informational only. And then we had the discussion on compost usage without loader. The recommendation was to revisit compost usage without the use of the loader at the June 2024 workshop. The next item was the city and township brush acceptance and grinding expectations. The discussion came to a recommendation of research options regarding the feasibility, timing, and perception of burning brush and stumps at the compost facility to help determine if accepting brush from other cities and townships is of interest. The recommendation includes having staff discuss alternatives with townships currently using the Wright County compost site for brush disposal. The next item was the highway event permit. The recommendation was highway event permits are to be sent to commissioners within the district as an informational item prior to the event. The next item is the cafe space. The recommendation is to not move forward with preparing sealed bids for the cafe at this time. The seventh item is the large group assembly permit. The recommendation is to direct staff to draft an ordinance amendment using 500 attendees as the necessary attendees number for a large group assembly, permit limit at 1,500 attendees as necessary attendance number for an EMT service, as well as some other minor language to be added and to have a checklist for the sheriff and other departments to check off. The eighth item is policy for written contracts, to amend the policy for county board approval of written contracts threshold to 200,000. Then the other item is the use of the fitness center by non-Wright County employees. Do not change the tenant access to the fitness room at this time, so keep the policy as is. Any discussion on the workshop recommendations?
Mr. Chair, I just have a suggestion based on one of the presentations. I don't know when we're going to talk about subjects for future meetings, but I have something that came out of one of the items there related to the library.
Okay.
So I can bring it up now, or I usually, Lee asks for topics for future meetings, but
Sure.
it's up to you.
Yes, so, you want to have a discussion regarding the library and is that,
Well, it's the open library position that I think we should discuss the process of how we are going to fill the additional position on the library board.
okay, so, okay,
And that's, I think, supposed to start the first of the year, so we should probably discuss how we're gonna, if it's a committee, a member at large for the whole county, how are we gonna go about that?
And Mr. Chair, there's actually going to be 2 positions open.
Two new or one?
Well, one's timing out, and then we get another one.
Oh.
So there'll be 2 appointees
Okay.
at the beginning of the year.
Sure.
So it'll be, we should put that on a workshop, I agree.
well, I would say that we can either do that October or November. Maybe we want to go October, so that way we have time if you guys want to do some sort of a solicitation in November, so you can discuss with potential applicants in December for an appointment in January.
Yeah, I think the sooner the better, just for transparency's sake I mean, if people got ideas, that's fine, but a posting process, so it looks more like a nonpartisan type thing than anything else, okay?
Yep,
All
I
right,
think that's a great idea. Thanks for bringing that
Okay.
up. I think Lee will get that noted for the October workshop.
On October.
then with that, I'll make a motion to approve those recommendations that you just read off, Mr. Chair.
I'll second that.
All right. So we have a motion by Commissioner Catchmark, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the workshop recommendations. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Workshop recommendations approved unanimously. Lastly, we have the approve the adopted recommendations from the August 12th Committee of the Whole Budget. Recommendations there are as noted. Is there any discussion on the recommendations from the Budget Committee?
I'll make the motion to approve.
So you
I'll
should note
second
that
that.
this direction was the items of the reduction as directed by staff of the administration to find a reduction of 200,000, and then there was the additional reductions I'm sorry, left my one note page for that recommendations on my desk, so it got missing. Trying to pull it up here.
So, Mr. Chair, I can quickly read
Yeah, I
through
wanna get those for
So
me.
we removed 50,000 from 161.99, which is the personnel services.
Yeah.
And then we had the request for an Office Tech 2 position that was removed, resulting in a $70,000 reduction from the budget. Staff administration, specifically Matthijs and Wilford, were meeting with department heads to reduce budget by 200,000. And then administration would meet with the sheriff's office to review the data on the revenue line regarding boarding of prisoners. If it's able to be supported by the data, that we would increase that line by $100,000 as part of that 200. So
Which brings us to a roughly, I'm going to say roughly prospective preliminary levy of about around 4.8-ish.
4.8 as we left that meeting. So
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just for clarification, so a week from today, we're gonna vote on adopting the preliminary.
That is
And
correct.
Is that when we're first gonna see the fruits of the labor of staff then and looking for these other reductions? Are we gonna see that a week from today?
So what's going to happen is administration is going to send out Thursday or Friday this week where those directed reductions are coming from. You'll get that prior, so Thursday or Friday this week, but then the resolution for the preliminary levy will be on Tuesday at the special board meeting. You could discuss as a whole prior to that in that agenda if you had some direction to it.
Okay.
But the goal at this point would be to pass the 4.8 levy because we won't have a subsequent resolution in place. So if you wanted to make additional cuts on Tuesday, we wouldn't have a prepared resolution to pass at that time.
Okay, I just was wondering when we're gonna first see what we directed them to reduce, and I hope it's before Tuesday for starters, but.
Yeah, and that's the reason we want, so that way if commissioners had comments about where administration made the cuts, they could articulate that to them prior to Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay. Matthijs?
Members want to see line item by line item cuts or just an overall reduction of where we took it from?
I think it's just like if it was $5,000 from HHS and if it was increased revenue in this line, just each department holistically. I don't know that you guys don't want to get down into the linear. They took out, they budgeted this many less pens.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, if we wish, just have the info available. If we want to ask you where specifically, we can. And those that don't want to know, don't have to ask.
Perfect. And all right.
So I'll make a motion then to approve that recommendation. Oh,
Yep.
okay,
We had a motion, a second by,
I don't think we had a second, yeah.
Oh, I'll second that.
okay.
all right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland, to approve the Budget Committee of the Whole recommendations. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Budget Committee of the Whole approved unanimously. Advisory updates. You want to start on this side?
Sure, I can start. I'm just a quick update from AMC, some of the things we went over. I am on the Environment and Natural Resources Committee. So we did a lot of talking about ditches, solid waste. We had presentations by the DNR, PCA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and Board of Water and Soil Resources amongst them. And a lot of it was just discussing the implications of state law and the changes and how that will impact all of those departments and essentially Wright County and all the other counties. So it was really a lot of good information.
Thank you. So would you feel that the attendance there was a strong attendance? I mean,
It
I
was
guess
a
you don't have-
strong attendance, absolutely. And we had a speaker on Friday from the federal level with some of the funding that's come down through that, through those bills that have been passed. So, yeah, and public safety. So I also attended some public safety and transportation, just to learn a little bit more outside of that scope, because it's this policy that would be recommendations developed for recommendations to lobby at the Capitol, to the benefit of the counties and the people of Wright County.
I appreciate your attendance, Commissioner Dietrich. Thank you.
I have just one, if you guys want this, the Central Minnesota Council on Aging had a report of our aging population, and you can see it by the other counties. This is a big demographic that is growing. And so it's just good information as to how our older adults how we're managing them in Wright County. The next is I attended the opening of the large machine class at the Wright Tech Center. It was well attended. The president and some of his people from local 49ers were there. The Fain Company was there. The Vite Company was there. The McCrossin Company was there. There was at least 50 different entity or people there from all different entities. Very excited that Caterpillar has given them 3 machines to use, and then CS McCrossin has donated the cement barriers, so they showed us the big sandbox, and then Caterpillar also donated 4 simulators. And then on Friday night at 5, we were very lucky because Shane secured the bonding group of the House of Representatives to come. It was 3 days. We were the last, so we were the very last group or entity that they saw. And there was about 40 representatives there looking over the building and seeing our programs, and they were very impressed, which they were actually amazed that we have a school like that in Wright County. I think that's really good work on Shane's part to get the bonding group to come for a field trip. We have another one coming with the senators in November. And it we answered a lot of good questions that they had, and I'm very excited that they came. And then Commissioner Shane and I went to Open Streets in Buffalo, and then I attended Otsego Prairie Fest all day on Saturday. It's always so nice to see our county employees and how hard they work. I know that Open Streets went till like 9 o'clock. And, you know, that's a long day. They've worked all day, and then they attend with a smile on their face. So really appreciate all the hard work that our staff puts into these events. The Prairie Fest alone had over 5,000 people. It was so well attended. It's a beautiful day, and a good thing for young families. And so it was a great event.
Thank you, Commissioner Holland. So a couple of notes here. So if department heads haven't seen it already, we are beginning, as well as commissioners, we're beginning the time of year where we start collecting legislative topics that we will have a discussion about in October, about initiatives that we need to take into this next legislative session. So commissioners and department heads start funneling that information to administration, or have it ready and to prepared for a discussion in October. The more information you can provide, the better it is for us to move that forward. Another item is on Wednesday, September, I think it's Wednesday, this 27th, yes. I don't know if you got an invite, but all county board members are invited to the XL Community Breakfast, which is at the Monticello Community Center. I think RSVPs are ending this week, so please let them know if you're interested. It's always a good information.
Is that?
XL?
No, yeah, what date?
Oh, Wednesday, September 27th at 7:30 a.m. Xcel Energy does a great presentation on their initiatives and where things are at in Wright County and Sherburne County. So mark your calendars for that. Once again, I want to thank finance and administration for the budget sessions and the dedication and hard work to it. Was different this year, but I think we found some lessons learned in some areas that were an improvement and other areas that we need to improve. But I want to say overall, thank you for your work. That's all I have today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I went to a couple city council meetings, Cokato and Waverly. The only questions or comments were related to how our levy was coming along, and someone mentioned that one of the cities has a 17% levy, so we should look pretty good compared to a number like that. MRC meeting last week, we talked about the drainage registry that's come up the last couple of years, and it's not going away. There's still some groups that want to better manage or regulate ditch projects, which our drainage coordinator's gone, but that is gonna slow down the process. Hopefully, we have enough information in place to stop that or show that we're making other efforts, so we don't need another rule or hang up in place for these ditches. Yeah, I went to a EMC public safety meeting that carried over 2 days and about 6 hours total. In MRC and the public safety, this SRO subject came up. It was interesting, there was about probably 25 counties in the room, and only about 6 of them raised their hand that they have school resource deputies. Which tells me, I think a lot of them didn't have a lot of information about how it's ran or this law change, because the police departments in the counties have the school resource officers. So the board folks, commissioners, they didn't have the inner knowledge that we have, mainly because we have a good-sized contingent of folks that work in the schools because of our contracts. But we were assured that there's people looking at this as not a positive change to the law, so I mean, they were talking about the powers that be that are looking at it, but one comment is that the powers that be today were also the powers that be when this law got passed. So that's why there's more of an interest to me from county's perspective to weigh in with letters of support, and we actually did one with MRC to exempt these school resource deputies from this law change or change the law so that the use of force matches those that are non-contracted. So a lot of talk in all the meetings about that, so it was interesting, but some counties are way less vested or invested than we are because of the sheer numbers. And that's all I had then, Mr. Chair. Oh, Highway 12 Coalition met There's some studies and work planned on Highway 12 from Delano westbound toward the west end of the city limits there in coming years. So we had discussion about what that was going to look like. But it's good to see attention to Highway 12 west of Delano instead of east of Delano, what we often see and read about. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister Kelly.
All right, you might be AMC'd out, but just a reminder, the District 5 meeting will be in Stearns County, October 16th. I can send out a reminder of that. So a lot of conversation amongst my administrator peers, similar to what Commissioner Ketchmark said about what's everybody's levy at, what's your budget looking like. So quite a range throughout the state. I've heard anywhere from 2 to 12.1. So jurisdictions are kind of doing what they need to do, it appears. So with that, I have no further updates.
Chairman Vetch, one more thing. Central Minnesota Jobs and Training. The federal government, it sounds like it's gonna maybe shut down, and they're really hoping that we can extend it to, that they push it forward to maybe do a shutdown more towards November and December, so that they can pay their bills. They're really kind of anxious, because if they have to lay off people, they're worried that these people would go find jobs elsewhere. So they're really anxiously watching the federal government. And also the federal government wants to get rid of the youth programs, which is very alarming, because, you know, we need the youth for future jobs, and they're kind of puzzled why they want to take away funding from the youth program. So we might want to put something forward, like some kind of a letter to our legislators to say, on behalf of Central Minnesota Jobs and Training, that, you know, these are 2 items that we'd like to see. Oh, and also the driving, they can only ask for 14 cents an hour, anything over 14 cents a mile. Anything over 14 cents a mile is considered income. So then a lot of their volunteers that drive for them they get reimbursed at that 14 cents. They would like it to go up to the regular federal rate so that they can get more drivers for their programs.
So I'm interested in getting some more information on it. I think with the more information, I'd be interested in sending a letter. I think this would be more of a federal level letter.
It would be,
To,
yeah,
so
because it's under the Labor Department.
labor. So I think we can do some vetting on that and work towards getting some sort of a draft letter together. Just going to take some time to get the information
Yeah,
on
Barb's
what the
working
current.
on getting me some information.
Perfect. If Barb can get that passed on to us, we'll get something put together.
Yeah, thank you.
Lastly, before closing, I wanted to pass on the deep appreciation that the Wright Tech Center has for the county board in allowing them to use Flaherty and Hood to help navigate this bonding services. They feel greatly that they wouldn't be able to get as far as they've been thus far, and the potential chance of getting funding. So wanted to pass that on, that there is a deep level of appreciation by the Wright Tech Center for Wright County allowing them to utilize those services through the county.
It affects a lot of kids in Wright County, that's for sure.
Yes, it does. If there's no other business to come before the county board, we'll adjourn at 9:38.